Swanglin. It's the Swanglin Show, episode 21. Episode 21 of the Swanglin Show. Joshua P. Dunn in the building with me today. I got my guy, the heavyweight champion of Swanglin internationally. South Florida representative, Vice Gripp. What's up, bro?
What's poppin', y'all? Merry Christmas, happy holidays,
Oh,
all
yeah.
that.
And on making his second appearance on the International House of Swangle, we have Stan Edwards Jr. representing rapper Geek, Toledo, Ohio. Thor himself. What's up?
Going on. I'm Thor when he got depressed and got all fat. So
Too much beer.
Also joining us once again in the competition of giving Vice Gripp money for this, the run for the money for the International Swanglin Heavyweight Championship, the Conspiracy Family's own King of the Wing, Cincinnati, Avondale, representing by way of the 419, CJ Dinero. What's happening?
What up, man? What up, everybody?
going on.
And just joining us in the bottom, we got another international swangler, spokesperson for Vidal Sassoon and producer aficionado Rob Digital. What's happening, Robbie Digital?
I don't know what the fuck you just said, but what's up, bro?
Oh yeah, it's going down. Welcome back to the Swanglin Show, fellas. We're going to talk about the year 2021 and talk about all the crazy shit that happened within the year 2021. So
is this a 5-hour podcast then?
No, we're gonna keep it limited.
2021, bro.
It's gonna be fun. And if you're watching the Swanglin Show and listening to the Swanglin Show, you're like 2021 year in review. Where the fuck is Newkleus? Kyle, where you at, bro? We're waiting on you. It's still going down though on the Swangler. So, okay, we rolled into the year 2021. And one of the first things that jumped off and popped off right at the top of the year was there was this the U.S. Capitol riots where they the insurrectionists, quote unquote, killed a Capitol police officer, injured like 140 people as they stormed, the buildings in D.C. So the president was impeached and all types of shit based behind this little insurrection that happened. So I'm going to start with my man, Stan Edwards Jr., and ask him, have you ever been yourself involved in some sort of insurrection? And if not, what is your opinion of people storming the United States Capitol?
I'm gonna be all the way honest with you. I'm the most ignorant person when it comes to politics. So I honestly don't have an opinion on it because I'm not educated on it. But I just know it was crazy. But as far as like insurrections go, I don't know. I've lived a pretty fairly peaceful life, so I haven't really been a part of that many, scruffles, I should say.
Well, I'm glad to know that you are the type of person that stays out of harm's way, because it's always good to have that quality when you're swangling. Now joining us, we just asked where the fuck is Kyle, and then boom, there he is. Kyle Newkleus, hosting the official co-host of the Swanglin Show, is in the building. We're talking about 2021, the year in review. Right off the top of the year, what happens? We get this insurrection and people storming the United States Capitol. Kyle, what's your opinion on people storming the Capitol?
Everyone who violated a law of some sort that day should be prosecuted. I'm not going to speculate on all the violations that happened that day. I do know that people smeared feces in our Capitol. I feel like, shit like that is unacceptable. I mean, I feel like if I went and did that on a random day that I get the book thrown at me, but these guys do it on the right day. They're supporting the right person. They get to walk away, or, they get a slap on the wrist. So there are investigations ongoing in Congress, and there's investigations going in Congress as to who orchestrated it, but there's already been prosecutions in the DOJ and through DC as to the people on the ground.
Now, there's already been 700 people or more prosecuted in this whole deal. People that have been charged with even super small shit that they're like lumping into it and saying it's all part of that. It's reported in different like media outlets that 5 people died during that insurrection thing, and not all 5 of them died within within the walls of the Capitol as a direct result of the riot. So they're saying that maybe they might have smeared that a little bit. But directly after this whole thing is going on, we have the inauguration of a new president. Joe Biden comes in with that America first. America is back. But we all know America never fell off in the first place. But he comes in, breaks for the first time ever, there's a woman vice president, Kamala Harris. Now, I saw some shit on the internet. I don't know about you guys, but maybe Kamala Harris, the vice president of the United States, was a groupie for Montel Williams, CJ Dinero. Do you ever think that maybe one of your groupies one day could blow up? What do you do then?
Oh man, I mean, possibly. Who knows, man? Who the fuck knows? The world is crazy, man. So who knows? They might already blew up right now, and I don't even know.
Yeah.
If so, they owe you for motivation.
Yeah, something, man. They owe me a little bit of something.
So hopefully in the future, we'll see some undesirable people maybe scale up in life, and things will work in favor of CJ Dinero and other members of the conspiracy family. Maybe it'll happen while Joe Biden is in office. I know we have people within the Swanglin family here that may have different political views, different religious views, all types of different shit. So as the new president comes in, Joe Biden, clearly, the bar's set pretty low because of the media shenanigans of Donald Trump and shit. And my man Vice Gripp representing South Florida. When I was down there the last time, it was crazy. I seen Trump like motorcade vehicles and all types of shit out there, and it was wild.
Oh, yeah.
So ever since the table has turned with the presidency, have you noticed like different shit like that in your area about Joe Biden, or was it just some Trump shit?
Hell no.
It's still some Trump shit. They be out on the corners near Walmart with big ass Trump flags right now. You know what I'm saying? On the weekends and shit. He's a celebrity, so you got to understand fanfare comes with being a celebrity. People just, fall out over their favorite celebrities. They ride for them. You know what I'm saying? They cape for him. He's got several golf courses down here. So he's a figure in the community, like he's a figure in the New York community. Doesn't mean everybody likes him, or people have their own opinions about him. I'm the type of person that I can only speak for myself, and I look at actions. Like, I don't know the dude, so I can't comment on how he is as a person, but you can comment on how you feel about what they do, because that's an objective thing. It's something that is an action that you can say, okay, this is how I feel about that. To comment on how a person is, you see what the media wants you to see on both sides of the aisle. And, I think as far as Joe Biden, it's the same thing. Some people like what he's doing. Some people don't like what he's doing. But you just have to pretty much look at the actions to try to weigh it. And, looking at the person is a other lane that I don't usually go into.
No, I think that's good sometimes to be impartial with your opinion. Just because you feel a certain type of way don't mean you got to let everybody else know it. And if you're listening to the Swanglin Show, that's one thing you can definitely take. Just because you feel a certain type of way don't mean you got to fucking tell everybody about it. So sometimes just, keep it on the shoulder. Now, I just noticed something, and this is totally off topic, but Rob Digital, are you wearing a Bone Thugs Christmas hoodie? Is that what's going on? That's pretty dope.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. So shout out to Bone Thugs and shout out to Christmas. You know what I'm saying? We just had Christmas.
Yeah.
I hope everybody.
The recent versus shit got me hyped. So I've been on, my yearly bone kick recently. 3-6 a.m. bone, actually.
Yeah, me too. And we could probably fuck around on the Swanglin Show and do a whole entire episode just about that versus, because that shit was literally epic for all of us. But we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it 100 right now. We're gonna talk about another big news story and thing that happened in 2021 was the GameStop short squeeze, where a bunch of people on a subreddit thread effectively crumbled Wall Street down to the kiss the ring position and forced a short squeeze of the stock for GameStop. and a bunch of internet people and small time people like me and you came up a whole bunch of fucking money. So I'm gonna do on some Swanglin shit by a raise of hands. How many people in here came up off GameStop in 2020?
Oh, GameStop? Nah.
I did.
I
I wish I would have, but
I came in
definitely
too
did.
I came in too late. I heard about it too late.
yeah, same
You
here.
probably see more hands if you ask about Doge.
You probably
yeah.
see more. You probably see more hands if you ask about AMC.
Yeah, definitely.
that too.
And that's also another story that's coming up in the timeline. So it's not just this isolated incident of one time people like flipping in, jumping in, fucking the markets up, and a lot of smaller people getting some money. And that also brings us to another 2021 thing, which is the rise of the NFT. What do you guys know about the NFT? CJ Dinero.
Oh yeah.
I don't know too much about it. I see like bigger names getting in on it and shit. I want to study up on this some more, so see how I can get my hands in on. But it seemed like it's something that's going in that direction to do some exclusive shit. So I'm gonna keep my eye on it. Plays out. I want to make sure it's not a fad, a little trend and shit, then it's gonna go away or something else is gonna come after that. You know, so
Yeah, you always want to.
I thought Bitcoin and shit was gonna be a fad too, but joke's on me.
Yeah, jokes on a lot of people when it comes to Bitcoin. Fortunately, the joke is not on me. So fuck yeah, we're on the Swanglin Show. So this is what we're gonna do, right? So a lot of the topics so far have been like political and like finance based, right? But another thing that's like huge is the COVID vaccine availability and them like pushing and forcing vaccination for this virus on everybody, including like secondary shots and shit. So my question is to Newkleus. What is your opinion about the COVID-19 vaccine rollout?
Well, each state kind of did their different rollout. Like in Ohio, Mike DeWine did the $1 million giveaway to 5 people, and he also gave 5 free rides to state colleges, like away. For people for students, you could get a free ride to any state college if you're choosing when you graduated, or $1 million for the adults. Anyway, so DeWine was in a situation where he's in the super Republican state, but his health officials were telling him that, you know, we need to mask up and do all that shit. So even though it pissed off his base, he sided with the health officials. And then that pissed off his base. And so then he went away from it, and then he went back and forth. So when they rolled out that giveaway for the vaccine, when the vaccine finally came out and they did the giveaway, he was thinking, how can I get as many people vaccinated as possible so I can he had made some promises for like by the fall and by summer for things to open up. And this rolled out in like, I want to say April or like, you know, May. And so in order to get everyone vaccinated, he put out these $1 million giveaways and the free rides and stuff. It worked, but it also, like, he got in a situation with his base though, where like he's basically dead. I mean, he really damaged himself, but then again, it's a profiles of courage though, too, because, you know, he went with the science. As far as a nation, there's been backlash from the states. You know, in some states they were with it and they got people vaccinated, and others didn't. And what you found was when the Delta variant came, all the places like small rural America that hadn't been vaccinated, and they weren't affected by the first waves and stuff because it is small town America, but they ended up getting hit more by the second and the Delta variant. And when that came, it was kind of too little too late. Their states didn't roll out anything, you know, so it all depended on state to state and what was going on, because some of these states statistics were low. So it was like, well, we don't need mask mandates. It's working here in Montana, but that's not the same for New York City that has people coming in every day from all over the world, you know, so. Well,
that's a very, very great insight on how the rollout was and stuff. And one thing's for sure is that if any one single human being on earth could beat COVID-19, it would probably be Tom Brady. Probably, right? in
Fuck
2021.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, I agree. Totally fuck Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But it's pretty newsworthy that in the beginning of the year 2021, he won the Super Bowl, 7th title, all-time GOAT, son of a bitch, Tom Brady.
Son of a bitch.
There was a big COVID stimulus check deal that came out this year where everybody got hooked up with a bunch of money. So we want to give a extremely rare shout out to the federal government on the Swanglin Show for that free money. We appreciate you very much for that. Good looking out.
It wasn't free money. It was our own money. They gave us a tax advance. They didn't fucking give us shit.
Yes.
They gave us a tax advantage. That was against our own fucking taking money, dog. They take 10 grand from me a fucking year. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, you know?
Oh, definitely. I believe it to be theft in some cases. You know what I'm saying? But
in some languages, yes.
They're going to get
also,
their cut.
well, you know that they're going to
All
fucking
day.
get their cut no matter what. That's kind of part of the deal.
I have a question about that. If somebody could answer this for me.
Oh, drop it.
So I know that like the stimulus checks and stuff was an advanced tax credit. Now, was this a tax credit that they created that wouldn't have been there before? Or how did that work? So
No,
like, was
you,
this?
you can apply for an advance on your taxes every year if you want, and it takes it out of it. So, you know, I mean, I'm not a financial advisor. It's just what I've read. This is something that is already a mechanism that they just applied to everyone unilaterally. Usually this is a special exemption. Like, you know, you have to ask for it. You have to request it. There has to be reasoning behind it. So this was like an emergency powers thing where it's like, you know, we have to open this to everyone at once. Normally the IRS would only do it in a special circumstantial thing. You know, so, you know, I would obviously consult someone who has more knowledge based on it, but I'm pretty sure that it was just something that was already in place that they applied unilaterally.
Gotcha.
Now, see, you know, they're always going to have some type of scheme and back end thing. I'm sure that there's special exemptions for people depending on who you are, or how much paper you're bringing in, or how much they get to keep from you as well. So another big story of 2021 that I think that we should definitely talk about on the Swanglin Show was on April 20th, there was a conviction in a court of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin found guilty in the murder of George Floyd, which was a huge deal and sparked like racial justice protests all over the world, and was pretty much a dominant news story for months in this country. Now, I got this question from my guy Stan Edwards Jr. Right when they announced the conviction for the George Floyd's killer, Derek Chauvin, how did do you think that affected America as a whole?
Honestly, no. I think it, as far as making a change, no. I was honestly, I was surprised because I was kind of expecting the same result that, you know, we usually get, you know, non-guilty or whatever, but I don't think it actually makes a difference in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? It's you know, it's I look at it as a, you know, a one-time victory, but I don't think it's necessarily going to affect anything going forward.
Now,
Nope.
CJ, what's your opinion on that case where, because you know that fucking cop did some slimy shit and they got him on camera doing some grimy ass shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And it did kind of cause a little ripple effect or whatever. You did see stories in the news for like the next couple of weeks after that about other people getting charged for doing some dirty shit as far as like being police officers or different, like, you know, people that fill that role as a job or whatever, getting in trouble for abusing their power. Now, do you think going forward that in America that is something that could ever change?
Nah, because it's deeper than that. It's much bigger than that, and it would have to be changes all across the board, up top mainly. And as long as those changes don't happen, a cop getting convicted, that's just one, that's a skate, basically. If somebody got to take the fall, it's going to be a small person. The people that really make the changes, not changing shit. The law's not changing, how we're looked at, and it's more so becoming now, it's still racism, systemic racism and everything, but it's really, people are kind of starting to wake up and see that it's really, that's just a small part of it to keep us at each other's throats. But now motherfuckers are starting to see that it's bigger than that. And it's more the poor against the wealthy. And as long as motherfuckers are in charge, we all fighting. They got us fighting against each other, and for no fucking reason. So, but with the conviction of him, it was cool. It was good to see. But
I agree.
It's still plenty more cases out there that they've gotten away with, and they're gonna continue to get away with it because the police are the biggest gang in the country. Yeah. They ride for each other. They stick for each other, all that shit. And that happening, it didn't really change shit. Shit's still the same because shit, right after that, a few more motherfuckers got killed by the police.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Wasn't it also like in that same metro area where the dude was charged?
One lady just convicted for killing, I think his name, Deontay Thomas or something like that. I think his name.
Dante Wright.
Dante Wright. Just killed him. He just got convicted.
Matter of fact, a young girl got killed in, I think it was in Columbus, the day what was his name? Derek, whatever, got convicted. Same exact day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it ain't really gonna.
Unfortunate.
It's just a small little thing, man. It's gonna take more than that. That's why, like, when we talking about the insurrection and shit, I'm not against insurrections if it's done for the right reason. If it's gonna benefit not just one group, whole situation. Just like how America became America, they had to tear the shit down. They had to go to war with the British.
Yeah.
Like, if we not gonna do that type of shit, the insurrection don't mean nothing. Like, we can't go and destroy shit and as black people and say kill all white folks. That's not gonna help everybody. Like, we gotta go in there, everybody together, and we gotta tear this motherfucker down the right way.
Well,
so everybody is straight.
It's mainly not to cut you off, but it's mainly like, what's the intention behind things? Like, you're gonna tear some shit up. Why are you gonna tear some shit up? And what's your plan after you tear the shit up? A lot of people are just acting out of emotional anger, and they don't really got the foresight to think about, what am I putting in place after this thing that I say I'm against. If I say I'm against something, I have to have a plan in place to replace it with something else. That's how society works. It's systems. So, we all agree the old systems in policing and politics and religion, all different facets of society, the old systems are fucked up and they're outdated. It's time for updating the software in this matrix that we're in.
That's a great point. And also too, like, you got to think about all of the people that are currently benefiting from the old system. Like, if you try to tear down the old system, then
that's the real war.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you go into war against the people who are benefiting from the current system.
It's David and Goliath, my friend. We're all David and they're Goliath. They got all that armor, all the weaponry, all the resources, but they don't have the intention. And that power is something that is not spoken about too often. Intention is very important. So it's like, do you have pure intentions on things, or do you have your own selfish benefits? Are things going for like a bias? Like the insurrection was for a bias. They were just, they were acting out of emotional anger, acting on words, and you saw it in the mechanisms. People say like Trump was like sitting back enjoying it like it was a TV show, like it wasn't real life. A police officer got killed out there, and I don't like cops at all, but that's a person, with a family. Like, we should be trying on all sides to reduce people dying everywhere, and sure, that's idealistic, but intention, like, I don't know.
He got killed by a bunch of motherfuckers that supported him at one point. Blue Lives Matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They probably had a Blue Lives Matter patch on their backpack as they were stomping his face with a friggin' fire extinguisher. Like, Christ Almighty! Like, it's ridiculous, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see how they look. It's obviously it's you're looking at it from the outside perspective, but I mean, intention is everything, and you got to have that foresight. So.
This is true. Now, since we're on the subject of war, like going to war and shit like that, in 2021, we ended the longest war in United States history as they went ahead and backed out of Afghanistan, to where also another major news story, several months later, their government then is overthrown by the Taliban that we fought off for 20 years unsuccessfully. So we're going to go ahead and...
It took 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous.
It's
crazy.
Also in 2021, the United States government, they reopened the borders to like 33 different countries who were barred by COVID restrictions. And there was a bunch of change in the world. Netanyahu gets booted out of Israel. They come to a big climate change agreement between more than 190 nations at the United Nations Climate Summit that was aimed to accelerate, greenhouse gas emission cuts around the world. And so it's cool to know that, they're passing these infrastructure bills and they're pushing these vaccines. And there's a bunch of like crazy shit going on in the world. Like, industries are collapsing. You're seeing like a major inflation at the stores on everything is more expensive. There's random natural disasters that are happening, like we mentioned in a previous episode of the Swanglin Show, with those big tornadoes and all this crazy shit that's going on. It's kind of crazy to see like just the state of the United States right now, because it seems like there's just something going on that's like, something's being pulled around in a certain way to kind of restrict our industry at some point that may be unbeknownst to the average American, myself included. It seemed like in 2021, I saw a lot of members of the conspiracy family thrive like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Start new endeavors, watch endeavors take off. And also at the same time, via the virus and pandemic and a lot of different supply chain shortages, I've seen a lot of people go into a different mode where they start to dip down a little bit. So as I sit back and I look at all the major news stories of the year, it's kind of like a reminder of a blessing to see that, like, damn, everybody in the team is really doing well under a circumstance where a lot of people really can't do it. So it's a testament to everybody here on the Swanglin Show today. Give yourself a fucking round of applause for not only staying afloat, but straight swangling through a turmoil of a world that we have going on right now. So also in 2021, we've seen like the big uprise of the Versus video events that they're doing, where it's like artists versus artists, right? Do you guys think that on the Swanglin Show, on these epic shit, we should do reviews? You think we should come together and talk about when they're dropping these hits back to back? What do you guys think?
I'm with it.
On the epic ones, we could give our commentary and reviews. I'm down with that. Maybe not. I mean, they're pretty important things for hip hop. They've been pretty epic, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing that I think is a major epic news story of 2020-21 is the return of the Swanglin Show. We started dropping these videos. It's been like 6 weeks straight where we're cranking this shit out, bringing some heat. And we're going to come next year with some extra heavy flavor for the 2021. My man, Rob Digital, is in the building right now. He looks like he's at a garage sale. What's going on, Bob?
Oh, I'm at this garage sale, peeping out some vases. No, I'm outside smoking a cigarette, man. I'm just chilling. I'm looking forward to some more of these, man. I mean, I'll talk about literally anything, me, whatever, but I'm all about music, talking about music, the music scene, hip hop culture, any genre really. I'll talk about some politics and whatever else, but yeah, dude, I think doing something about verses and just the state of hip hop now versus then, the industry, the business side of it. all that stuff's real
Yeah.
interesting to me
And we're
too.
gonna dive into those topics some more on the Swanglin Show and start dropping some game for artists and start dropping some what not to do's for artists also to save them some time and some energy. But since Rob Digital, since you said you're into talking about things and stuff, if you had to come up with one question for Kyle, what are you gonna ask Kyle? What are you gonna talk about with Kyle?
Oh man, I feel like Kyle's the go-to for anything that not even just politics, but anything that I don't understand that has a complexity to it. Like you guys were talking about NFTs earlier and stuff like, and then, I've always had a curiosity of how like blockchains work and things like that. So I don't know, I guess if I was to narrow it down, explain to me in a quick summary, if you can, what an NFT is.
It's basically copyrights like to an image, essentially. Like it's copyrights to to your likeness in a sense on a particular image. Like, but for example, there was some NFTs that Quentin Tarantino put out from Pulp Fiction because he's like owns that or whatever. But there was, I think Uma Thurman was in one of them, and she actually made a stink about it because she's in the image, like, and so she may have a right to that NFT as well. So there's this thing about, does the person who took the image actually own it, or is it the person the image is of? And I don't know. I'm still learning more about it myself. I think that Grips had that one dead on more than I would have knowledge of it. He hit the nail on the head on that.
Well,
but on the whole, I know what you're saying.
They ask you because you look like a high school science teacher, but
yeah,
it's all in the power of the beard. They're like, he's the one with the knowledge. Look at his beard.
Yeah.
Ask him. Right. No, but
yeah.
And the easiest way to think of an NFT is it's a digital painting. That's it. It's a one-off image. Someone paints one thing. It's an original hand-drawn thing, but it's a digital piece of art that is singular and then is sold at value. And just like any piece of art, it can go for a little bit or it can go for a lot. It depends on, like Kyle was just talking about, who illustrated it, who it's of, like what the likenesses represent, because you see artists be the inspiration for their own NFTs, but I don't think many of them are doing their actual own artwork as far as illustrating it. They're hiring an artist to collaborate with on an NFT, and then it's being sold to a collector, and people collect these digital pieces of art.
So would the NFT then have some sort of like metadata to let you know that it is in fact the original?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yes.
Yes. They're sold with a certificate of authenticity.
Yes.
So it's like buying digital paintings, original paintings and photos. Gotcha.
Not only is it like it's an original piece of art, but it's also used as a form of currency. So the value can rise on this thing because an NFT, okay, by definition, it says via Google, it says it's a non-fungible token and it's a unique, non-interchangeable unit of data that's stored on a blockchain, which is a digital lender. And the NFTs themselves can be associated with any type of like reproducible digital file, such as a photo, a video, or an audio. And it's actually like a form of crypto.
Okay.
So there's a second level to it, to where I believe certain NFT creators are making things and serving them out to their fan bases as almost like an investment platter. To where maybe if they drive up the value of these individual artwork pieces, that everybody could sell them out and make money together, which is, if that is the case, that's pretty fucking dope. Well, it's been wonderful chopping it up about the year 2021 with you guys on episode 21 of the Swanglin Show. As always, Vice Gripp is in the building representing South Florida. He's the international Swanglin heavyweight champion when it comes down to appearances. CJ Dinero's on his ass. Marinated Mitch is on his ass. Kyle can't get a title shot because he's a co-host by definition. So he's out of the loop, and he sent me an email about it. He's trying to come at you, Vice, Israelite style. Battle of the Beards on the Swanglin Show for the International Swanglin Heavyweight Championship. You might see that early in the month of January on the Swanglin Show. It might go down. First ever title defense in the War of the Words against the South Florida The conspiracy families, Hyman Roth versus goddamn Newkleus representing Ohio up in this bitch. Now, I appreciate all you guys joining the show and chopping it up with me about these different various subjects. This show's kind of scattered, you know what I mean? Because there's a bunch of different topics and it's kind of hard, you know, to maneuver and have all of us within a conversation at the same time. And I think we're doing a wonderful job of breaking down this fucking calendar year of some pure fuckery that happened within the world and how we stay afloat on the Swangler and the Dangler. Now, we're going to wrap this thing up on episode 21 of the Swanglin Show. I want to ask myself right now, what would Swanglin be without Vice Gripp? You know what I mean? I mean, when the fucking, if you ever needed somebody to ride in a fucking convertible with the top down with like some type of Hawaiian shirt, hella chest hair, just engraved in a gold chain on some straight Don Johnson shit, it would be Vice Gripp representing South Florida. As always, Joshua P. Dunn representing the Swanglin Show is going down like a lesbian and Swanglin like a separated shoulder. Shout out to my man, Rob Digital. Kyle Newkleus, whole singer, the fickle freckle boy living in the sea. CJ Dinero, the king of the wing, Cincinnati's own, and my man, Stan Edwards Jr. representing rapper Geek. It's the Swanglin Show. We'll see you again next week, you little son of a bitch. What's up?